Hey, everybody. It is Peter and Sal here from Strong Healthy Women, and welcome to Talking Wellbeing TV, where we share hints, tips, and advice about the foundations of wellbeing. And we are here with Friday Finishes, where we celebrate the lessons, the wins, and the challenges that have happened with the gorgeous ladies and ourselves in the Strong Healthy Women community. And so, welcome, Sal. How are you today?
Good morning. I am good, thank you. How are you? It's
I'm
Friday.
really well, thank you. It is Friday, and good morning to everybody listening. When you are taking a listen, let us know whether you're listening to the replay or whether you are watching live. And if you are, just hashtag it so we can see how many people are here with us. And so today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. So I've done a morning workout and an afternoon workout, yes, and with some of the ladies, and I want to go into that. But TJ is here with us just in time, sitting down with my salad to watch my favourite ladies. Thank you, TJ. Big loves to you.
TJ. Love. Thank you.
So I've had the pleasure and delight, and I posted this up on my personal Facebook page, of working out with the 6 a.m. ladies this week, as well as the 5:30 p.m. ladies. And I just love their commitment to their workouts. And I was actually going through my head, thinking about the number of women that have aches and pains.
Yes.
So, yeah, run through it. And, Robin has scoliosis, and she's got, compromised knees as such. And, Mickey's got bad knees. Christine's had replacement knees. And the list just goes on, doesn't it? You think about Jill in the afternoon. Yeah, and you think about Jill in the afternoon. She gets that back niggle sometimes, although that hasn't been happening a lot lately. And she's been doing a marvelous job, because she made a commitment this year that she just sent us an update on, which I love. And yeah, who else can you think of that's
Coral's got foot issue at the moment.
Yeah, she does.
Excuse me. Beryl's got a little bit of a neck issue at the moment.
Neck.
Yeah. Alex had
Diane with his shoulders.
Even Alex isn't is not a issue that you can see. Hers, she gets vertigo. She gets that dizziness happen.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, because Wendy gets vertigo as well too. So if you started to actually run down, maybe we should do this one day, Sal, is actually run down all of our clients and go, okay, what do we know about like the ache, the pain, or that little limitation that they have, but it doesn't stop them from working out. So you've got to admire them for that, kudos to them. Yeah. And I know that for me personally, they couldn't work out what was wrong with my knees at a young age as a teenager, until eventually they worked out it was arthritis in my knees, So as a young person. So I've had that, but it has never stopped me from doing anything. And I know that if I eat badly, I'll get the aches and pains. So, it keeps me on the straight and narrow. I know that, from having a job over the years where I've, been sitting a lot, that that lower back, I started to get some pain in there as well too. And that's to do with the degeneration of my spine, which, most 40-year-olds start to encounter unless you, start early and get wise to it. I mean, I wasn't wise to it until later in life. So for you, just wind it back for me. When did you first start exercising? I know you did netball as a younger person, but at what age were you? Were you in your 20s, 30s, 40s?
We were a basketball family. I couldn't play netball to save my life. Have you seen me play netball's not pretty sight. Just a side note, I did play an indoor netball one year with the lovely Deb Weiss. We had an indoor netball team, and so we were playing that one year, and I ended up with a netball in my face because I didn't catch it. So I started, I would have been about 21, 22 when I started going to the gym. Yeah. And back then it was aerobics and, you know, those sort of things. And step was just coming into its own thing. And then, you know, it was kids. I was having the babies. So getting back into exercise, I was 35 and a half, 36 when I was starting to get back into it. So it was when I had Olivia, my last child. Yeah, and it was, I don't feel good, I'm going to start walking. And that's how it all started for me.
Yeah, so you started walking and then eventually you've gone to the gym as well too, right? Yeah. So, you know, you've been fairly smart in your life because you have been someone who's actually, you know, taken that exercise fairly serious in your 20s and in your 30s, you know, and then beyond. But for someone like me, you know, like I didn't grow up around exercise. It wasn't something that I saw or even understood. You know, I do remember Richard Simmons being on TV and Oz Aerobic Style or whatever it was called. I don't know. Yeah, I remember seeing those things, but that was it. So, you know, exercise was never something that was really in my my world until later in life when I realized that I just needed to change something, and that's a whole other story in itself. But I think our whole point today for Friday Finishes is that we tend to get these aches and pains, and I know that, you know, you've always exercised, but you've also had some injuries along the way as well too. Shout out to Richard Simmons. TJ, funny note here. Just recently at one of my business conferences that I do, in our reset breaks, we actually did a workout to a Richard Simmons clip. So it was a bit of a walk down memory lane there. Yeah, it was a bit of fun. But yeah, so I think what happens is we all start to notice those ailments, whether it be the shoulders, whether it be the hips, whether it be the wrists, elbows are another thing, hips. So it's always the joints, though, that we're noticing.
Yes.
So primarily joints, yeah. And that's quite normal because there's a lot of wear and tear. If you think about it, you know, we're using these joints all the time. And so it's not unusual that we're going to get that wear and tear, and so that we're going to start to feel something going on in our bodies. And so what happens is when we feel that ailment or that we start to feel sick, we will go one or two ways. So if we've got a consistent routine of exercising, then we'll keep moving through it. But if we don't, what's going to happen is we're going to use it as some form of reason, and you like to call them excuses, I like to call them reason, that we can't do it. Yeah, I know. Well, it's just a reason. Yeah, Sal just likes to call it what it is, and that's okay too. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing because I was actually, whilst we were doing the workout at 6:30, it was a great workout. Everybody was just on point. You know, they were putting in the effort, they were working really hard, and they were keeping up with the count. And so everybody was used as a marker as we went through different sets or different exercises. So it was real community spirit. And towards the end of it, you know, we were only doing 5 reps at the end, but we were holding at the bottom, we were holding at the top. So there was a lot of pressure put on those muscles. And it was wonderful to see. But what I noticed is how the ladies, when they've got a particular issue or concern, so the likes of Christine with her replacement knees, they still put in the effort, but they go for the alternate, or they go for that modification, or they work within what they can do. And it was great that Christine sent the email after the workout, and she said, just giving you the heads up on, being to the doctors, and this is the particular issue I've got in my, it's a tendon issue in her leg, and that was showing up in her foot, and it was throwing her off balance. And I went, it's an interesting thing that she actually pointed that out, because it's something that I've been thinking about. And I said, and you probably would have heard me, Christine, because I went, as we were doing our stretches, I could really feel on that right side, and generally not so much my right side, I feel these things, but on my right side, I could really feel that tightness. And it came to light. And I remember telling you this, that I dropped a bottle on my foot.
Yes.
And so what had happened is I have been favouring that foot, limping around. And so what's happening is the rest of my body is starting to work that little bit differently, because I do happen to have this little bit of a niggle in the foot going on. And I went and I said to Christine, you know what? I was actually just thinking I need to do some specialty sessions for us. There are some basic things that we can actually do to put ourselves in balance. And even when you think about it, how we sleep of a night time, we're probably just throwing ourselves out slightly. So, there are things we can do like first thing in the morning, and they don't take a lot of time to actually just get that balance back. And if we can get that balance back, it means that when we work out, that workout is going to be more productive. Because if we're out of balance and we're not using our body in the right way, then what's going to happen is we run the risk of hurting ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah, and you can be hurting yourself on the opposite side. A conversation just came to mind with my ex-husband, for want of a better word. He was bitten by he was scratched by a cat and ended up having to have 2 surgeries in his foot. It was quite serious. He was in hospital for 2-3 weeks. But it was interesting because he didn't have movement, because where the cat scratched him was in the ankle joint, like in that joint. So that was where all the inflammation was. They had to scrape it all out and clean it all out and everything. But he was still limping, and because of all the scar tissuing in there wasn't much movement. But he was complaining that his other foot was hurting. And so this is what I was explaining to him, because you are favouring that right foot where you've had that surgery, your other foot is adjusting, but this is where now you're going to start getting pain as well, because you're not walking on it correctly.
That's right. Yeah. And it's really important. So it's one of the things that I've been doing over the last couple of days is, as I'm walking, I'm really conscious to put my whole foot down rather than walking to the outside. Now, I'm a barefoot girl inside and out, but I know that if I've got my joggers on, I've got that support under my foot and around my foot, I will walk straight. So, I've been conscious to actually have my shoes on a little bit more so that I do that. And that's not my flip-flops or my thongs, but my actual shoes. So, I'm a bit of a barefoot girl. And so, it's an interesting thought for many of us. We will say to ourselves, I'm going to wait until this pain subsides. Now, definitely, if you're working with an allied health professional, physio, or, chiro or whoever it happens to be, and you're getting yourself in order, they're going to give you things to do. So, you know, there's no reason why you still can't go to your studio or your gym or to your fitness classes, still do those exercises. But if you've got a good PT, then they're going to be able to help you still keep up the strength in the other parts of your body and keep you in balance as well too. So, and that's important. Yeah. Look, and I know that we want to give a shout out to TT, because she hasn't been able to work out because she's been not feeling well. So tell me what's been happening with TT.
So TT hasn't been able to work out for nearly 3 weeks. And she's had a really bad chest infection and really bad sore throat. And so she started back this week on Wednesday. And it was great to see her in there. And she was keeping up. But you could tell it wasn't at 100%. And it was interesting after the session that she said to me, because I asked her, how are you feeling? And she acknowledged that it wasn't 100% workout for her, but she felt so good being back. And she just needed to be back to working out. And she felt amazing. So I was thinking about it, and often, you know, once again, aches and pains when we start coming into the flu season, although Peter and I were talking prior to coming on here, you know, no one should get sick this year because we all know what we should be doing. But coming into that flu season, that's another time when we go, I don't feel well, I'm not going to do my workout. But if you've got a head cold, you can work out. You know, if you do have a chest infection, that can be a little bit iffy. But once again, it's working within your parameters and working with your PT trainer on what you should and shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. And like if you've got something that's obviously going to be passed on to someone else and you are going to a physical location, then you don't want to be doing that. You know, that's if COVID's taught us anything, it has taught us to, you know, wash our hands, to social distance, to be conscious of staying home when we're sick, you know, because we have that attitude here in Australia, it'd be right, mate. So, you know, no matter how sick you are, you'd still go to work.
Yeah.
You'd be dragging your sorry backside around.
But, it'll be right. I'll be right.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm okay. Yeah, no, I'm good. That, you know, that autopilot response, isn't it? But the reality is that, if we do have something, we're better off just staying home for that day, not passing it on to anybody else, and actually getting better, and then being able to, get back to life as quickly as we possibly can. So. And then the other one that I wanted to give a shout out to today was Jill, which I mentioned earlier, and she sent us a really big email because our newsletter went out this week about goals. So it was like, okay, we're 3 months in, like, where are you? What was your goal? Shoot me back an email. And I know that Jill did our Metabolic Jumpstart Challenge earlier in the year. And I know she had great success. Like, she lost over 1 kilo during those 5 days. And so she's got a birthday coming up. I think she said she was 65. And so she has this birthday, and she went, okay, by May, I'm going to be losing 1 kilo a month, type of thing. That was the goal. Great goal, very doable. And so she did. She sent it back, and she said, I'm going great. I'm still focused, and I've been losing, and so far I've lost 3.5 kilos. And, she mentioned that she'd cut out gluten and she'd cut out dairy. And I really did want to highlight, if we are listening to our body, not just in exercise, but when we eat as well too, that your body will tell you what's going on. So if you're bloating after a it's normal to have a little bit of bloating, but if you're bloating and it's a little bit painful, then there's something there. There's something that you've eaten that wasn't quite right, or maybe you've overeaten. And, just listening for those key triggers can certainly be very helpful. And, what Jill has found was that not having the gluten, not having the dairy, and sticking with, some of the principles that she's learned along the way, that she's managed to have success. So I think the important thing here is that for Jill is that these things that she keeps using and keeps moving forward with them. And that's the thing, is that when we change something, what we're looking for is to have that level of consistency and to keep moving forward. Because when that injury happens, or when we make that change to the way we're eating, we can very easily, when life occurs, go back to our old habits. And so we want to get this into our being. This is who we are. I'm an exerciser. I eat healthy, and that this is the person that I am on a day-by-day basis. And when we can do that, that's when we get those wonderful, wonderful results. So was that on your end that you dropped out? And yes?
Yes, that was on my end. My internet dropped out, so I do apologise.
No, it's okay. I just kept on talking, and so I was hoping that, I didn't drop out. So I thought, okay, it must be on your end. So I would just keep talking. Yeah. I was just talking about how, no matter what it is that we, when we want to make these changes in our healthy life, in our fitness, then what's really, really important is that we develop that level of consistency. And it is all about that consistency, so that, if there is an injury, if there is a change that we make, we keep moving forward with it, so that we, can live our healthiest, our fittest life, so that we can do all those things that we love and enjoy as well too.
Yes. Yeah.
So any final thoughts for you and those dogs in the background?
Can you hear my dogs? They're going nuts. I do apologise.
They are going nuts. Yes, we can hear them.
I need my son to soundproof my studio. They're all the neighbours' dogs are going off at the moment, so I do apologise.
So do you have a final thought?
I do have a final thought. Listen to your body and think about whether it is, if it is aches and pains, if it is an injury that has happened, talk to your trainer first. And if you do have a good personal trainer, they're going to give you some very good sound advice. And the sound advice would be, more than likely, go to your doctor, get it checked out, but don't stop working out. There is always, as we tell our ladies in Strong and Healthy Women, there is always an alternative. Always an alternative.
Queen of alternates, aren't we, Sel?
Yes, we are. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. Oh dear. All right, ladies, so that's a wrap for us today. A big shout out to Christine, to Jill, and to TT for featuring here with us today. Thank you, ladies. We love taking what we see and what we hear and what we read from you and sharing with other women in our community, so that they can learn from the experiences that you have. So thanks for joining us. If you want more free tips and advice, we have our wonderful group called Women Over 50 Get Active and Healthy. And of course, if you're not quite 50 yet, that's okay. We will still welcome you into the group as well.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely, we will. All right, so take care, Sal. Take care, everybody. Bye, TT. Thanks for staying with us today. And we shall see you all very soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Happy Friday.